swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash with a silver hat about his head and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and laugh when he's conquered and won.
You know what I like to do? Just follow me on this one.
What's good? Damn, what's good, what's good? Salute everybody. What a game in Cleveland, right? A blizzard in the snow. The Browns pull it out and slide us up to, what spot are we now? Third or fourth? Man, salute my 2 cents, Raider Ryan. Appreciate y'all pulling up. What a game. Man, Jameis Winston, right? The man was slept on, passed up, sat behind quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, comes in, takes the 2-8 Browns to beat the Steelers at home in a blizzard. What a game. Shout out to Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns for helping out our Las Vegas Raiders. Let's go. So the Raiders slide up to, what are we now, fourth or third, depending on whether we beat the Broncos or not. So let's talk about that. Man, we got a lot of rookies that everybody's been wanting to see, get some play time, see where they stand, see what we have in this team, especially in the current position we are at, 2-8. Not a good spot for us. Nobody expected us to be in this position, but we're in Vegas and we're dealing with the cards that were dealt, right? Lots of injuries. But I think this game is going to be a lot more exciting than people think. Gardner Minshew has looked a lot more settled down. I think Scott Turner, Norv Turner, kind of pumped the brakes on Gardner, gave him a little bit more belief in himself. Not saying that he's a great quarterback or he's, going to be the Gardner Minshew of old, but it looked to me like, he settled down a little bit, making a little bit better decisions. The offensive line, the young offensive line, very, very promising, right? Let's get into the chat. What we got? My 2 cents says Davis sells another 15% of the Las Vegas Raiders. Golly, right? Force a project. Virtues take over coming, and Davis could be forced out of his own brand and company. That's kind of where I'm at this point. Is he purposely trying to get out of it? Is the aces just enough for him? And he's tired of, being the center or talk of the Raiders franchise being bad. Everybody blames it on Mark Davis. I never blamed it on Mark Davis. I think he's a genius businessman. I think he really don't know shit about football. And it doesn't look like he really, tries to me anyway, tries to get himself involved like he should, like most owners do. And maybe he wants out. Maybe he wants done with it. But, I think he's still, another 15%. I think as long as he has 1% more than everybody else, he still has more stake and more say. He's still the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders. So as long as he doesn't get rid of that 15 or 20, I thought it was 26% or something. He has 10 to Brady, 15 to somebody else. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing depending on who he decides to sell the team to. So far it's just been a bunch of investors. Is that who we really want, running the Las Vegas Raiders, a franchise that Al Davis, pretty much created from scratch, built with his blood, sweat, and tears, and we're just going to sell it off to investors and let people with money take over a team that don't know nothing about football? I mean, I know Tom Brady does, but he's a very, very, very small owner. So, I mean, it could be good. It could work out very, very bad for us. I would have taken Krabs over to option AP, went with the quarterback. What quarterback? Garner? Garner Minshew? What's good? What's good? Salute everybody. So, let me know, what do y'all think about DeCamarion Richardson? The kid had flashes last week for having to step in, on short notice with Hobbs being out and come in and play the majority of the game. I thought he was way better than what we've seen from a lot of our safeties and corners when it comes to tackling in the open field. I thought he made a couple of decent tackles, hitting guys in the legs, holding on, wrapping guys up. What else we got? My 2 cents got something to say. Let's get to it. Not sure if they establish a board, our board could vote out more confidence for the stake of the board and be forced out. Oh, regardless of being a majority share, could be mistaken. But I mean, yeah, I mean they did the same thing with Vince McMahon in WWE, right? He kept selling off parts of WWE here, a little part there, a little part there, and pretty soon there were so many different owners that they pretty much washed him out of his own company. So it's happened. It's definitely happened in other sports. James O'Keefe didn't see himself losing the company he built, but dirty business gave him the axe. I mean, hey, exactly. It happens, bro. Like I said, Vince McMahon, did the same thing. His daddy built that company and pretty much made wrestling what it is today. And, they voted Vince McMahon out of his own shit. D Menace, what's good, my brother? Appreciate you pulling up. I really want to see Dylan Labe on the field. I want to see this kid get some touches. I don't care if he fumbles, right? It's going to happen. Hopefully he doesn't happen. Pray to God he holds onto the ball. But I think he learned his lesson. Sitting on the bench for, 5 weeks after a fumble is just ridiculous to sit and sulk that long. And I've been the biggest hater on Amir Abdullah. He did have a touchdown last week. He did break some tackles. And now it's his time, right? Now it's his time to be pretty much the number one back. And he hasn't really had that chance in Las Vegas or on any team for that matter. Anywhere he's been in the league 10 years, and he really hasn't had the opportunity to be that guy and to get a bulk of the carries. So I'd like to see what Amir can do, getting a bulk of carries. Are they going to go with 2 backs? Are one of these guys, going to make it? Are they going to bring up Sincere McCormick? That's the big question. I would love to see that kid get some reps. He shined in preseason. He was one of our best backs last year in preseason, or this year in preseason. So I would like to see Sincere McCormick come up. I mean, what do we have to lose at this point? Our running game is just absolutely atrocious. And it's not even a running game at this point. Our receivers have bigger chunk yards than our running backs. And that's just not going to cut it. Definitely not in the NFL, but, DeCamari and Richardson on the touchdown, the wide open touchdown, the man almost caught the guy, or he could have caught him, probably could have hit him at the 1 yard line. I don't know why he stopped, because he probably could have forced a fumble in that situation. I mean, everybody remembers, well, okay, if you're my age, you remember, plays like Leon Lett right at the end zone. Thought he had a fumble for a touchdown to win the game, and he gets punched out. You can't give up on plays like that. And I thought he was there right there at the 2 yard line, and he just stopped instead of hit the man. I really wish he would have hit the guy and seen what happened. But the moral of the story is DeCamari and Richardson can fly, bro. That dude has absolute wheels. I've seen him on a couple of plays just chasing guys down. And, of course, you don't want to be in the position to be chasing guys down. But he showed that he has speed and he can run with these guys. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek are not slow guys. They're fastest guys in the NFL. So that's another promise from this rookie class. I mean, every one of these rookie guys so far, except for Dylan Labe with the fumble, I think when they have got in, have showed, they deserve to be on the field. I think, Tommy Eichenberg, not very great in coverage, but in run defense, the man is a beast. I think he needs more play time. But at this point, I was totally wrong about the Cleveland Browns yesterday, last night, whatever, on my live. I said the Cleveland Browns would not win another game. And somebody was in the chat, I believe it was Lawrence, that said, Cleveland always at least wins one game. With the Steelers, they usually, go 1-1. Cleveland has beat them, 4 or 5 times now at home. So I didn't see it happening. Definitely didn't see it happening in the snow. I thought, once it became snow on the field and they stopped passing, that the advantage was definitely for the Steelers. But, man, crazy, crazy game, right? So that puts us, at the 3rd spot, possibly the 4th spot. I really thought the Cleveland Browns, with the situation they're in with Deshaun Watson, would be one of the teams tanking. So the fact that they're not tanking, does it? Let me know in the chat. 6 people in here. Come on, somebody comment. Do you think with the Cleveland Browns winning this game and not trying to tank, is it because, a lot of these teams really don't believe there's a number 1 guy in this draft to really go after? Because I really don't believe that any of these quarterbacks are worth number 1. I don't think if any of these quarterbacks in this year's draft came out last year that they would be picked before any of the quarterbacks that were picked in the first round. And I don't see really too many breakout guys in this class. The more I watch film on these guys and the more I watch these games, there's not really too many people that stand. There's not. Okay, besides Travis Hunter. What's good? Besides Travis Hunter, there's not really too many guys, that are standout number 1 first round number 1 picks. And there's not too many guys in this class worth moving up and getting. So I think the Cleveland Browns, not tanking in the position they're in when they definitely need help. Maybe they're just not worried about it. Maybe they're just happy where they're at. And as long as they get to top 5, maybe they have a guy in mind and they figure they can get him, at the 4th or 5th or 6th spot. I don't know. But it seems kind of crazy to me that some of these teams that a lot of people thought have packed it in already are still fighting and still trying to play, which tells me maybe they don't have confidence in this draft class, or a lot of these guys are fighting for jobs and don't want to be fired at the end of the season. Because rumors are there's probably 8, 9, 10 guys like we talked about last night that are looking for jobs in the NFL. So, and AP, if he don't start winning, could definitely be one of them. The fuck. Running backs in the draft. There's a lot of guys in this draft, but I want to talk about a sleeper that nobody's talking about, and it's not just because he plays at Arkansas, but Jaquan Jackson. Man, this kid, 6'2", 233 pounds. He's not very fast. He runs a 4.6 40, which, man, I ran that shit in high school, so that's not blazing speed. But for that size, I mean, he's a big boy, he's a bruiser, and he really fits what Antonio Pierce wants to do. Smash mouth, pound the rock. He's a bell cow. You can give him the ball 30 times a game. This kid would be a sleeper in the third round. He's listed probably at 12th, I think, at the 12th of the running backs. A lot of people are talking about Ollie Gordon. The more I watch him at Oklahoma this year, he's just not the same kid he was last year. Last year after the catch, the man was averaging like almost 5 yards, 6 yards, I think, a carry, 6 yards after fucking collision or contact or whatever the hell I'm trying to say. And this year it's like not even 4. So I know Oklahoma's not, the team that everybody thought they would be, but they still got a defensive offensive line, and I just don't see it from that kid like we've seen last year. And a lot of these running backs in this class are juniors. How many of them are willing to, go in the third or fourth round if they think they're not going to go high? Because really, if you look at the running backs in this class and the history, I mean, last year there was one or two. I think just one running back taken in the first round. The year before that, I think there was 2 taken in the first round. And I think the year before that, there was only 1. So running backs don't really go in the first round. And really, Ashton Jeanty is the only running back, worth taking in the first round. The man averages 3 touchdowns a game. Just nasty. So do y'all think if somehow, with Scott Turner could turn this offense around and we can get a running game going, we have 2 or 3 winnable games. And, 5 wins doesn't put us nowhere near where we need to be to get Shador or Cam Ward or maybe even Curtis Roke or Jackson Dart at this point. We don't know. We haven't seen how these guys are going to perform in the combine. And when we get to the combine, these guys can just wow everybody like a couple of guys did last year and the year before. Richardson the year before, a lot of people were saying he wasn't going to go in the first round. He ended up being 3rd or 4th overall pick. So a lot of shit can change by the time the combine is, and you have the playoffs this year. So we're going to learn a lot more about these quarterbacks, heart, desire, mental fortitude, toughness, all that shit than we have in the past, because there's actually a playoff this year, and these teams have to battle for a championship. It's not just a 4-team race. It's 12 teams, 12 of the best teams in college. So, we're going to see a lot more from these quarterbacks than we have in the past. And I think, like I said, I really don't think there's a number 1 quarterback in this class. And if people want to go crazy and take, Shador and Cam Ward 1, 2, or 3, or 2 and 3, or 2 and 4, and we're sitting at 5, I would take Ashton Jeanty. I mean, just me. I would try to move back to probably, somewhere in 10 or 15 and take Ashton Jeanty and go get one of these young quarterbacks, like Curtis Roke or Jackson Dart, and take a chance on one of these guys. There's always a draft next year. And if we suck again, we'll probably be, at one of these top picks. And the way it's been going with the with the coaches, no run game, we could very well be there again next year. Or, we could very well be the Houston Texans because there is a lot of talent on this team. But I don't think we're a quarterback away. I think we need running backs. I think we need depth at the offensive line still. We need a number one receiver. Yes, we have Brock Bowers, but as we've seen in the last game, and everybody in the NFL has seen, you're going to have to start doubling this man. He's going to bring Devontae Adams' attention eventually. Right now, he's not going to bring Devontae Adams' attention because we have nobody else, right? I said it before in somebody else's live. I think teams are just playing him one-on-one because even if he does get 100, 150 yards a game and a touchdown, that's not enough to beat these teams that we're playing. So they're just letting the guy go one-on-one. They're not trying to scheme it up. They're not trying to double team him. But if we can get production from anybody else on this team, especially the running back room, if Scott Turner and North Turner can get this running game going, they're going to have to start, doubling Brock Bowers if we can get, sustained drives and start scoring in the red zone and hitting them in the red zone. They're going to have to start double teaming them. It's going to open up Jacoby Myers. It's going to open up Trey Tucker, which, man, Trey Tucker, I feel sorry for because they keep going with Gardner Minshew. Shout out Teddy Raider. What's good? And he just don't have the arm to throw the ball down the field, man. The guy just doesn't have it this year. And has he ever had it? No. Like, he doesn't have a big arm. He's not very accurate past 20 or 30 yards. And that takes away from Trey Tucker. That's pretty much Trey Tucker's whole game. He's small, he's fast, and we can't utilize any of our weapons with the quarterback we have. So I think, there's going to be a point where if we start getting these games close and we're not getting blown out, the teams are going to have to start double teaming Brock Bowers. And if they do that, like I said, it's going to open up a lot of shit for this defense because right now we have nobody. There's no number one guy. They know Brock gets the ball a lot and they throw it to him constantly, but it's 5-10 yard passes and it's not enough to hurt anybody, right? There's no attempts downfield. There's no reason to not keep, 6 people. Yeah, they're not stacking the box and having 8 on the line of scrimmage, but they're pretty much faking zone and blitzing. As soon as the ball snapped, they know when it's a run. They know when it's a pass play. And I think last week it changed a lot of that. I think teams were off balance when it came to our offense. They really didn't know if we were passing or running, but we still couldn't run the ball, right? Our running backs were just atrocious. So hopefully I'm live now on here listening. What? Oh, you're live on your other channel? I got you. Oh, man, this damn tooth is killing me. Who else watching the Lakers? Anybody else watching the Lakers game? All right, so what do y'all think about the running back we signed and the defensive back that we signed? What the hell is his name? Keelan? I don't know. I can't remember right now, but defensive back out of Tampa, not much stats on him. From what I've seen so far from, Ja'Cory and Bennett, not as much Jack Jones this year, but even Nate Hobbs, DeCamarion Richardson from the last couple of weeks that he's been out there on the field is these young backs are very, very good, or they're being coached very well because they seem to be able to cover. Ja'Cory and Bennett got a lot of shit last year. He wasn't out there. He was hurt. When he was out there, he was getting cooked, and he flipped the switch. So I don't know, if it's a credit to the defensive back coaches or if, we're just drafting really, really good talent. And I've been on Tom Telesco's ass because The offseason wasn't that great in free agency. We had a lot of money they didn't use. And it seems to me that they have a plan and they're saving that money for something, right? Let's check it out. What are you talking about? Oh, gotcha. So my 2 cents, if you're still in here, what do you think? Do you think Mark Davis is trying to get out of being the Raiders owner? Is he trying to get rid of the Raiders, or is he? Because man, there's so many. I don't know who the business guys are that he brought in, or how they're related to football. But I don't see the point. Like, this man has so much money, it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't know why you would need to sell parts of the team. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I know a lot of the nation is going like, yay, 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 yay. But I don't think y'all understand the meaning of this shit. I've been a fan my whole life, and there's been people that have been fans way longer than I have. And this company was created by Al Davis. Like, you cannot sell this shit off to a bunch of just fucking business people, bro. I think that's absolutely wild, but it seems to me with the moves that he's making is he's trying to pass this shit off to Tom Brady, but he's not even, he's the second smallest owner because you have Richard Seymour, who has the smallest part you could possibly do. What? Take a dab? I don't have a dab. You got a dab pen? Wait. Man, this kid Dalton Connect for the Lakers is an absolute fucking freak of nature, bro. This man has the smoothest, silkiest stroke. Pause if necessary. The dude is cooking, bro. Like, this is one of the best draft picks that we've had for the Lakers in a long time. This team is on fire. And I don't mean to change the subject, but I came out to do this live on my Lakers run. So what do you think, the four people that are in here, what do y'all think our chances are against the Denver Broncos? Bo Nix has looked just absolutely amazing. And he's starting to, it kind of reminds me, besides the mobility, the score is 74-65 Lakers. 9:26 in the third quarter. Oh, 68-74. They just hit a three. But yeah, this team has been nasty, bro. AD is on a mission. LeBron James looks like he's 20 years old. Just father time is just crazy. And then you add Dalton Connect, bro. Connects on absolutely everything. I can't believe the Mavericks are hanging in here this good, though. Now they're coming back. 70-74. So, hey, maybe I'll just put this right here. I don't have to see myself. Yeah, there we go. Bro, flashes. Now, this channel, we talked a lot about, of course, Tyree Wilson. Everybody says he's a bust. I was to the point where I was like, man, just get rid of the kid at the end of the year. I just don't see how he's helping. He's just taking a roster spot. And you can't we don't have roster spots to give up, right? Just for guys to learn on the job, to be an apprentice, in my opinion. I know he's a rookie, but he's just not showing enough. And last week, the strip sack, but that's pretty much it. He got a couple pressures. He's making small steps. But the guys that are in front of him, Levon Chasen, is coming on strong, bro. He's starting to remind me kind of like Malcolm Kuntz at the end of the year last year. I know he's not getting the sacks. I know he doesn't have near the technique or the bend Malcolm Kuntz does, but Levon Chasen has been a big, huge bright spot for this Las Vegas Raiders team. You know, he had a huge tackle for a loss, 2 big tackles for a loss last week. Was there on a couple plays I thought should have had a sack. The man is just all over the field, and man, he's only getting better and better and better. And you know, a lot of people were talking about Janarius Robinson, you know, being that guy this year. Especially Hondo Carpenter kept saying, you know, he was going to be the breakout stud. Watching him in the offseason, but all the tape I've seen on the offseason, I always thought it was Snowden. Like, Snowden looked the best to me. He looked the best to me in the preseason. And then you bring on, you know, Levon Chasen. And these are some key pieces that I think this team definitely needs to keep around. Both of these guys definitely need to be on this roster, I think, going forward. They both have, you know, tremendous upside at this point, especially Levon Chasen. You know, tossed around, was at Carolina. When he came, I was like, man, they're signing Levon Chasen. Like, this dude was just released by the worst team in the NFL. But you know how it goes in the NFL. Some people just don't fit with the coaching staff, with the players around them. And, you know, they just need a new place or a new start. And I think Levon Chasen has found his home with the Las Vegas Raiders. And with that, you know, where does that leave us with Malcolm Kuntz? Is Malcolm Kuntz going to be here next year? Do we bring back Malcolm Kuntz? Do we let him walk? Because I think if we let him go in free agency, bro, this is one of those stupid Khalil Mack type moves. I mean, it's that big. You've seen what the defense has struggled without Malcolm Kuntz. You know, they're just constantly doubling, chipping, triple teaming Max Crosby, you know, running chips with the running back, running chips with the tight end, doubling them with the guard and the tackle, and still chipping them, you know, with the running back if he gets free. And it's just crazy for, you know, Max Crosby to be as good as he is and only have 6.5 sacks. And it was really at this point last year that he was the same thing until Malcolm Kuntz came on. And once Malcolm Kuntz came on last year and started getting pressures, you know, in that Kansas City game, he got a fumble. It was returned for a touchdown. And after that, a lot of teams started doubling Malcolm Kuntz because he's faster than Max Crosby, and he was just getting to the ball, getting to the quarterback, and getting to the ball way faster than Max Crosby was last year. So I think, dude, he is really, really hurt. But the fact that if we can bring him back with Levon Chasen and Snowden, I mean, that's a pretty solid defensive end group. And then you get, you know, Christian Wilkins back. If we can go get, and I know there's not many because, like I said, this draft is not really one of those huge drafts where it's just stockpiled full of players. But if we can get a true nose tackle, I think this defense will really, really turn around. Now, I don't know why we're struggling so bad this year. Like I said, I know the loss of Kuntz just really kills us, and it hurts Max Crosby more than anybody on the team because they have nobody else, you know, without Christian Wilkins out there. There's nobody to really worry about, right? They're not blitzing Robert Spillane. You know, they're not sending Divine Diablo on blitzes. Once in a while, they'll blitz Trayvon Moehrig, and I wish, you know, we'd see a lot more of Trayvon Moehrig blitzing because when he seems to blitz, it's a tackle for a loss. It's a sack. You know, it's an interception. That man has caused havoc when he's blitzing. Robert Pennant, what's good, my guy? Some players need the right system to ball out, right? And I don't, for as good as that guy has been, I just can't understand why he's bounced around. Like it just don't make sense. But you know, maybe certain, maybe AP is that guy, or is it really him, or is it Rob Leonard? Rob Leonard is just a great coach, just a great mind. He's a seems like he's a really cool ass dude. He'd be cool as fuck to chill with. And I think Rob Leonard, salute Raiders booster, what's good? I think Rob Leonard has worked wonders for Kaylavon Chasen and for Snowden. Snowden seems to get better every single game. He's constantly around the ball. Same with Kaylavon Chasen. And I would like to see Rob Leonard get a chance, bro. I don't know. In the chat, let me know if you're with me, but do you think it's time to move on from Patrick Graham? I mean, 3 years he's been here. We've had the worst defenses in the NFL, except for the end of last season when we turned it around. But what do y'all think about, if we move on from Patrick Graham, or he does get a head coaching job, because there's going to be 8, 9, maybe 9 to 12 openings at the end of the year for a head coaching job. If he does get a head coaching job, or if we move from him, what about promoting Rob Leonard to defensive coordinator and giving him a shot? When you have guys like Marvin Lewis in the building, I think it would, I don't know. I think the guy would be a great defensive coach, man. Now, can he call scheme? Can he scheme for other teams? That would definitely be a question that had to be answered. My brother, Robert, salute. On your way to elevate your mind? Hell yeah. I'm going to elevate my mind for you. And the Lakers are slipping 78-77. Damn. The Magic on an 8-2 run. Wild. But yeah, I think I want to see Rob Leonard get promoted, get a chance to maybe be a defensive coordinator one day. I think he's got a great defensive mind. I think, the way he gets these players to play for him, to get the best out of these guys. Like we were just talking, Kaylavon Chasen has bounced around, hasn't really done nothing, and he comes here and the guy just seems like a stud. Like he's just around the ball, just making plays, and he's not on the field a lot, right? When he's on the field, he's on the field. So I think Rob Leonard has done enough with the defensive line in the last, damn it, I just lost the game, in the last couple of years to get a shot if we move on from Patrick Graham. Now, I don't know, how AP feels about that, or if AP is going to be back as head coach, but I think it'd be worth a shot. I think the team plays for him. I think, he's got respect in the locker room with a good, with good coordinators around him. I think Rob Leonard would be a damn good defensive coordinator, but I don't know. I'm not sold on Patrick Graham's defense right now. The defensive backs have been good. The linebackers have been when it comes to tackling, besides Robert Spillane. Our defensive line has been a bright spot, but they're just not getting enough pressure on these quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are still having 5-6 seconds to throw the ball, sometimes 8 or 9 seconds. And it's hard for our guys to cover, but even with the speed they got. So what's my thought on Dion as head coach? I think if Dion is going to be a head coach anywhere, it's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I wouldn't mind Dion being coach, maybe start out as defensive back coach or defensive coordinator or something, but straight to the NFL as head coach, I'm kind of skeptical on that, just because the struggles that AP's having right now with, personnel management, game management, practice management, all that shit. Yeah, I know, Deion Sanders has done it in Colorado, but AP did it in Arizona. So I think it would be huge for ticket sales, and it would put, fans in the seats, bringing Sanders here, both the Sanders. And I talked about it yesterday on my live. Could there be a possibility where Deion Sanders says, "I'll come to the Raiders if you take Shador and Shiloh"? I mean, because let's let's be real. Shiloh, he's decent defensive back, but is he really going to be drafted? You know, in the top 7 rounds? I don't know. Somebody might take a chance on him because he's Deion's son, but he could end up a UDFA, and maybe Deion knows that and says, "Hey, I'm trying to work this package deal." But Michael Irvin is a big, 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 big friend from Deion Sanders. He messages him before and after every game. They talk every day, and he's trying to get Deion to go to Dallas, and for Dallas to take Shador. So if Deion does become a head coach, I would see it. Jerry Jones, Dallas, and Shador going there in a package deal. But he could come to the Raiders. I think if anybody's going to be coach of the Raiders, I think it's going to be either AP or it's going to probably end up, being Mike Vrabel, just because of the connection he has with Tom Brady, and how everybody says Tom Brady is going to be pretty much in control of all this shit, which I just don't see how that's going to be possible. Ice Cube is trying to sway Deion to the Raiders. Oh, I know. I seen the interview, and I know Deion said it's a nice stadium, but he also said that coaching in the NFL is just too much for him. He loves coaching these young kids. He loves where he's at. But of course, you got to say all that, right? You're on TV. You can't sit there, especially with the boss that you work for from Colorado right there next to you in the interview. You can't say, "Yeah, I'm going to the NFL." But I don't know. I don't know if Deion would be a good coach in the NFL. I know Colorado's doing well, but I know they have a damn good defensive coordinator. They have a damn good offensive coordinator. They have Warren Sapp as a defensive line coach. They have a lot of good staff members and key pieces around there. And Deion Sanders is pretty much the same as AP, right? He's just a master motivator, because you don't see him calling plays or doing any of that shit. So he's just kind of that rah-rah guy that, gets the best out of his players. So, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'd rather have Deion than John Gruden back. I think a lot of people are still on the John Gruden train, and, the third time is not always a charm. But I'm just not sold on Shador. I'm not the biggest Shador fan. I never have been. I think the fact that he should have came out last year, but the fact that he knew he wasn't going to be, picked in the top 10 with the quarterbacks that were in this draft, he decided to wait another year. Tells me a lot about somebody's character. Now, you could say he wanted to stay and be in Colorado, coach with his daddy, and, develop his game more. But I don't think that was it. That's just my opinion. I think there was more to it. There was better competition last year. He knew the competition coming out this year, and he was like, shit, I could stay for one more year, build up my shit, get picked by the Raiders, because I've been talking to Mark Davis at all the Aces games. All signs point to Shador, but I don't know. At what point, as a father, I would love to coach my kid, because I coached him, when he played basketball and a little bit of football. But to coach your kid in the NFL, shoot, what father wouldn't want to do that? But there also comes a point in time as a father where you got to let your kid go, right? You got to let him go be a man in the world. You can't always be there to, save him when shit goes bad. And I think of what's good, Myra G. I think of Deion was coach of Shador, kind of like he does now. Like, I don't know. It's a crazy situation, crazy situation. But I wouldn't be mad if Dion came in, but I don't see him getting rid of AP to bring in Dion. Yes, it did say massive holes to fill. Myra G in the building. Yeah, and it's definitely no Diddy, but yeah, they do have some holes to fill. Come in making the chat lively. What's good? But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's a tricky situation. I don't know. We don't know how Dion feels. I mean, about how Tom Brady feels about Dion as a coach. I know Dion was in the Raiders facility, hanging out, talking. He loves AP. I don't know how that would work with with him being, taking AP's job. That would be kind of crazy, but I could see a scenario where he comes in, maybe as defensive back coach if they draft Shador. But would you really leave a head coaching job at Colorado, or, pass up on a chance that he can even be in Florida State at the end of this, by next year? That university struggling, isn't that his alma mater? So, I mean, a lot of crazy shit could happen. But I'm not. Look, at this point, I'd be happy with Shador. I'd be happy with Cam Ward. I'd be happy with Jackson Dart. I'd be happy with just getting a quarterback that comes in and competes. But I think mainly we got to have a running game and receivers, and we got to fix the defense, because without any of that shit, it doesn't matter if Shador is coming in. He can't play defense. He can't tackle. His brother can, kinda, kinda. But maybe I need to think about my thumbnails a little bit more before I post them. Let me know in the chat, what do y'all think chances of AP coming back are? Do you think AP is going to be around to finish out his contract, which we don't know how long that contract is, but most assume it's only 2 years? I mean, it's obvious they didn't, they wouldn't give Kingsbury 3 years. I don't think that's the whole story there. I think the fact that he could go get Jaden Daniels was a way bigger scenario for him to leave. I can hire you as a thumbnail consultant. Okay, we'll have to talk about that. Hit me up on IG. But do y'all think AP's job secure? I mean, the man talks like he has security, like he's coming back next year, right? He talked about the future. He said he's trying to win. He wants to be in these colors next year. This is still his dream job, and he wants to turn this franchise around. So, do you think with the injuries, with the quarterback situation, with the firing of Luke Getsy and half the offensive staff, James Gray, Scangarello, do you think that's enough to give AP one more year to finish out his contract and show that he can turn this team around, or, that he can bring this team back to the upside? Because, I mean, let's be honest, he took over a team, right, that was pretty damn good. Yes, the record didn't show we were good, but if you look at on paper, the stars that we have with Devontae and Max and You know, the list goes on and on. I'm not going to say Jimmy G, but I mean, on paper, we had a decent ass team, and he took over a pretty solid team, and it showed at the end of the year going 5-4. But now you're sitting at 2-8, and you lost to teams that, I mean, we got dragged by teams we shouldn't even lost to. Like we were in all those games, and we found a way to lose in the fourth quarter. And a wise man said, right, bad teams find a way to lose, good teams find a way to win. But I just don't see us being a bad team. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know y'all's thoughts. Is this really just, are we really a bad team, or are we just a bad coach team? And we just have shit luck, because I mean, obviously we're cursed. Like, and speaking of curses, what do y'all think about the Madden changing the cover? Have y'all ever seen Madden in the history of Madden change the cover of their game? You know, they had, everybody says it's the Madden curse. You get put on Madden and players are out for the year. Well, the Raiders were on that cover behind Christian McCaffrey. He was running all over us, you know, ready to score a touchdown. We were all in the background. There was 3 or 4 Raiders players in the background. Well, they have now changed that cover, and it's just a blank blur in the background. So we are so bad that they took us off the cover of Madden. How could we be so bad that we get taken off the cover of Madden? I just don't understand that. But is it the Madden curse? Because even though, you know, we weren't the mainliner on the cover of Madden, we were still on the cover of Madden, and all the players that have been on the cover of Madden have had some catastrophic injury, and we had worse. We had 3 players. This is crazy, right? We had 3 players that were on the cover of Madden in the background, and we had 3 players out for the season on defense. Is the Madden curse real? I'm just saying. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Is the Madden is the Madden curse real? Because that just seems, I mean, come on, that's just too much of a coincidence for me, right? Damn, we're probably going to be worse than Cleveland by Sunday night. That's a good thing, though, right? I mean, if we need a quarterback, that's what the Raider Nation wants, right? Everybody wants us to tank. They want us to be ass when we've been bitching for the last 25 years how we're shit and we want to win games. And now all of a sudden, we don't want to win games. We want to be ass. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. D-Menace says 1. Well, I got 1 vote out of 9 people. Damn. Bo Nix in the building. Let's talk about what do y'all think about Bo Nix's play? You know, there's been talk and crazy talk because most of the nation wanted JD5, right? JD5's been playing pretty good. Jaden Daniels been playing his ass off as a rookie. But he's starting to slow it down, right? Teams are starting to figure him out. Since the rib injury, he hasn't been all that great. There's talks of him being MVP. There's talks of him, you know, being Rookie of the Year. But I don't see him being Rookie of the Year with the rookie year that Brock Bowers is having. Like, if this dude is not in the running for Rookie of the Year, it's an absolute travesty. Just look on the bright side of things. Maybe we can draft good, and draft even trade up so we can get 2 of the top first picks. That's, I mean, that would be my goal. You know, just like the Houston Texans did last year or 2 years ago. They went and got C.J. Stroud, and then they turned around and got the best defensive player on the board. And I think that's what the Raiders need to do to turn this organization around, because we're not just a quarterback away. We have many, many holes to be filled. And Myra G likes holes to be filled, obviously. I'm just saying. I'm just playing. But, I mean, that would be crazy if we can move up. You know, if we can move up and get, Why the hell my shit just get all crazy like that? I don't know what happened. Green screen tripped out on me. But I just moved everything. But yeah, if we could trade up, which Tom Telesco never does, but if we could somehow acquire 2 picks in the top 5, and I know it's a crazy scenario, but hear me out. We have a guy who's a top center, or a lot of people say is a top center in the NFL, that we just paid a shit ton of money, Andre James. And I was trying to do a mock draft yesterday or the day before. Yeah, the day before I was doing a mock draft. And I was like, what the hell? Raiders sitting at the 5 spot. Before the mock started, Tennessee was sitting at the 3rd spot or the 2nd spot. I think the 2nd spot. So I tried to trade with Tennessee. I offered them our 3rd round, one of our 3rd rounds, because we have 2. Andre James, a 1st round next year, and I think like a 6th or 7th. And they accepted that shit. And I was like, what? So, I mean, I know that probably wouldn't happen. It'd probably be, our 2nd and 3rd and a 1st next year in Andre James. But what do y'all think? If we could trade like, an Andre James, or we can't really trade Divine Diablo or any of these guys that are not signed to contracts. But Andre James is on a contract for another year. And, JPJ does not need to lose that spot. JPJ is definitely probably one of the best centers in the NFL right now, just in the 2 games that he's played at center. I mean, the kid just looks like a freak out there. He's running 20 yards down the field, taking people out, diving into people like a damn bowling ball. Bo Nix eats boneless wings. Ooh, he eat corn the long way too. But Bo Nix eats, but Bo Nix has more touchdowns than any rookie quarterback drafted in the same year he was. I'm saying, trade him. That's what I'm saying. Trade him. I mean, look, I was looking at the Giants could use a center. They're ahead of us. The Titans could use a center. There's a lot of teams that have rookie centers right now that could use a center. And I don't know what Andre James's worth would be, because I'm sure they see the same results we see every week. That dude laying on his back more than an OnlyFans girl. But, I mean, somebody might be willing to, take a shot at Andre James. I don't know what we could get for him, but if we can throw him in a package deal, for him in a 3rd round this year, maybe our 2nd this year and a 2nd next year, or a 1st next year, bro, I would swap him in a minute. That would give us 2 picks in the top 5, and that would definitely seal the deal. I mean, you could get your quarterback, you could get your running back, you could get your running back and a receiver, and get your quarterback in the 2nd round, because there's going to be a lot of good-ass quarterbacks in the 2nd round. I don't think Jackson Dart's going to fall that far, but a lot of people predict him to fall that far. And if he does, and we don't get him in the 2nd round, and we don't get a quarterback in the 1st round, then fire everybody. That's all I'm saying. Fire everybody. I don't know why my screen keeps doing that. I keep turning into the Terminator. Look at this shit. You can see through my skin. Wait, where'd it go? All right, well, I've been on here for an hour. I was just trying to make an appearance and talk about the Cleveland Browns saving our ass. See how y'all felt about these rookies coming up. This rookie class has been great for us, and we're going to see a lot of them on the field. And hopefully we see Dylan Labe. I would love to see this kid get some wheel routes, some drag routes, and, spread the defense out, right? Spread it wide open. Because the only way we're beating this Broncos team and this defense is to spread them out. You have to spread it wide. Stop running in the middle because that's their strongest points. They got a solid ass nose guard. You can't run up the middle against the Broncos. And we're going to have to run to the outside. We're going to have to stretch the field. If we can do that and play like we did last week, man, I think we have a shot in a lot of these games. Unfortunately, it comes at a point where nobody wants us to win. We'll probably win. You know what I mean? That's just how it goes with the Raiders, right? We're in a spot where we could get a really high draft pick, or, in my scenario, the scenario I had last year, is to move up and get 2 picks in a top 5 or top 10. And, we have a lot of key players on this team that we could trade and get. Colton Miller's been playing great. Mumford, we could swap Mumford out. There's a lot of guys that people would be willing to take to fill some holes, to plug some holes on their team, I believe. Crosby needs to start working and getting a little bigger and stronger so he quits getting put on his back. He does get thrown around a lot like a rag doll, but I mean, you got these guys that are 320, 340 pounds, 6'8", and they could bench 225 pounds like 50 times. So, I mean, yeah, if you look at, TJ Watt, if you look at Myles Garrett, who just had a hell of a game, if you look at the top defensive ends in the league, Joey Bosa, all these guys look like Hulk Hogan and shit. So it wouldn't help for, Max to pack on some pounds, but the way he trains with boxing and cardio and all that shit, it'd be hard for him to pack on. Broncos fixing to kill the Raiders. Sauce Man Q. I mean, they did drag us through the mud last time we played, but we are undefeated against the Donkeys at home in Allegiant Stadium. So, I mean, we will see. We will see. What's your score prediction, Sauce Man? You think it's gonna be the same as the last game, like just a straight ass whooping? I don't see it. Like, we got a new offensive coordinator, and we're not great. Our defense is still ass. But if our offense can stay on the field longer than they have been in the past, look, we could have beat y'all's ass last year. I mean, the last game, if it wasn't for that interception for a turnover, and I know you can't go and change the past, and you could say what if, but we were stomping that ass, and we were coming down to score. And if we would have scored that touchdown, it's a 14-0 or 14-3 game, and I just don't see Bo Nix bringing y'all back from that game, bro. So 31-10. Bo Nix is going to have a clinic. I mean, he did throw 4 touchdowns last week, and I'm not going to argue with you, bro. I'm not going to argue with you. Bo Nix looks very, very fucking good. I hate saying it, but come on. When you're so good that they got to put in Stedham at the end of the game because you're just destroying teams that you shouldn't even be beating. Yeah, he does look pretty good. Your run game's starting to come along. The receivers are starting to pick up for him. The tight end's starting to hold on to the ball. Your run game, like I said, coming along. I mean, it's all good. Yeah, I know shoulda, coulda, woulda. Raiders are the worst team in the NFL. No, we're tied for the bro. You ain't fucking riling me up, bro. Look, I know we ass, but y'all been ass for a long fucking time. So don't come in here talking about, oh, the Broncos are gonna kill you, because the Broncos have ate corn the long way for the last 4 years. We spanked that ass for 4 years straight, buddy. So until the Broncos go on at least a 8-game winning streak, you got no room to talk shit in here. right? Coming here talking crazy talk. They won one game in the last 5 years. This motherfucker. Yeah, fucking, we beat you one time in 5 years. We're the shit. We got Bo Picks and fucking Bo Leave and Bo Diddley. When's the last time the Raiders won a playoff game? When's the last time the Broncos won a playoff game? Shit. What do you mean, bro? Come on. What are you trying to say? The last time we won a playoff game was with Rick Basad. We didn't even win that. Fuck, I don't know. Rich Gannon. It's been a long time, bro. I know. I get it. 20-something years. But the Broncos aren't any better. Y'all might have a better coach. Yeah, I said it. Y'all might have a better quarterback. We don't know because they won't play Aiden O'Connell, so we don't know what that kid has. But if we had a coach like yo, I bet Aiden O'Connell would be doing the same shit. Last time you won a Super Bowl, that was the last time you won a playoff game. When was that? 2015? Come on, bro. It's been 9 years. Y'all ain't any better. Y'all are not any better. You had to go get a washed up Peyton Manning just to add to your Super Bowl rings, or you wouldn't even have any but the Elway error. So fuck out of here. Horseface Elway. And that is a pretty good score prediction. 31, what'd you say? 31-10 Denver. I just don't see it. What nigga don't know football? Typical Raider fan. I just told you 2015 was the last time y'all was in the playoffs. And so what? You won a Super Bowl. You went and got Peyton Manning. Great. You guys are brilliant. We'll see, bro. It's been a month since the Raiders have been home. And I just don't see us getting dog walked like we did the last game. Like I said, that game could have went 2 different ways. It just happened to go your way. We'll see how this one goes. But if you look at the Raiders' whole entire season, even with the injuries we've had, which have been catastrophic on defense and on offense, and all the bullshit with Devontae Adams, minus all that, the Raiders have been in every game in the first half, and they just can't close it out in the second half. So we'll get there, bro. We'll get there. The Raiders haven't won a championship in my lifetime. I'm 33 years old. If that's bad, I don't know what is. I mean, yeah, we're on a bad losing streak. I mean, what can we do, bro? We had a owner that was 90 years old, running shit, making draft decisions. Times are changing, bro. Times are changing. It won't be long. Y'all still ain't on the top yet. You still ain't beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So, and until you win the division, don't come in here talking about the Broncos. Y'all got dog walked by Carolina. I know we got dog walked by Carolina. We got dog walked by everybody in the fourth quarter. But we was in every game. Salute LVR. Look, I'm not arguing with you, bro. This is a bad team. I agree 100%. Bo Nix ain't going to have no clinic. He might have to go to the clinic, make sure he don't have crabs or some shit. Yeah, 33 years. Has it been that long? Damn, I'm getting old. I'm getting old. My guy, Ozzy, what's good, my guy? And their team haven't made it in history. What does that make it? Right? The Broncos. Y'all haven't been good since Elway. Y'all had, what, 1 or 2 good years with Manning? We're both horrible franchises, and the Chargers and the Chiefs. The Chiefs have just been on a streak, but we all know how the cycle goes, bro. everybody at the top falls to the bottom and shit rises to the top. Put some money down. Bro, you think I'm stupid enough to bet on this sorry ass team with Gardner Minshew fucking at quarterback? You think I'm stupid? What the fuck's wrong with you? Hell no. I ain't dumb. I win money betting against the Raiders this year. Shit. Ain't stupid. How much money you got? How many points you gonna give me? My Raiders always pull it out when I bet on them. And y'all can't control Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is going to have over 100 yards, 2 tutties. And if Dylan Laube could get going, y'all are in trouble, bro. If we can get a run game going, it's going to be a different game. Guarantee you. We can have Bo Nix curling up like he did last time. You see Max Crosby running to him. The dude curled up on the ground was like, "Stop playing, Chad." I don't know if y'all old enough to remember those commercials, but what's the spread? 5.5? All right. What you got? I got 20 on it. I ain't fucked up about it. Nah, I think it's a different game. Like I said, the last game, that turnover for an interception sucked the life out of this team, bro. They were dead in the water after that, and there was still a whole game to play. So I don't think it's been gonna be that same scenario, bro. I, hey, look, You're right, bro. You're right. The last time a tight end took over a game and won was probably Gronkowski. Every game they played. Okay. The last time we had a tight end take over was probably Darren Waller. What, one game, maybe 2 games he won taking over. But the last time a tight end took over a game was last week. Now, did we win? No, no, we did not win. This season, why his numbers so good is because teams let them eat, bro. I've been saying that all year. A tight end is not gonna take it to the crib. Look, he's taking it to the crib like a 50-yard catch, and he mossed a motherfucker up over his head. Went up to the high point, got that shit, turned around, ran what, 40, 50 yards? What was it? 50-yard touchdown, 55-yard touchdown. So the man can take it to the house. He has the skills, but I agree with you 100%. Teams are not double teaming him. They're letting him eat because they throw the ball to him fucking 5 yards, 10 yards, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And come on, you know damn well by the time you catch the ball behind the line of scrimmage, there's 3, 4 guys there, and they're just hoping he can, run over a couple and get a couple yards. And that's pretty much what he does. But if you can keep feeding the man to where they have to start double teaming him, it leaves other guys open. And when that happens, it's not going to do shit because we have Gardner Minshew. But if we had a quarterback and they started to double team Brock Bowers, oh my God. Bro, I can't even argue. This is fucked up. I can't even argue with donkey fans because I got no argument. We're fucking trash. Trash. I know they're a way better team. This is horrible. This is horrible. Bro, I know they're a way better team. I know they look great. Bo Nix is looking like he could be up there for Rookie of the Year, but he's going to have to beat out Brock Bowers because that's the only weapon we have, and we have nobody else to throw the ball to. So I think Denver is a way better team. I think they have a way better coach. I think they have a way better defensive coordinator. But I don't think they win. I don't think they win. I think the Browns, pulled out a miracle tonight in the snow against the Steelers in a game that they had no chance of winning. And I think Scott Turner and Norv Turner might have a little something up their sleeve. They made drastic improvements from where we were 2 weeks ago before we went into the bye. So the team stepped it up a little bit. We still got to get a running game, and we still need a defense. But the offense was looking pretty nice there at moments, at times. So I don't think it's going to be the same game. But the Donkeys, man, I hate to say it, they fucking look good. Sean Payton has that team way above expectations at this point, 100%. That's why we need to fire AP. When was the last time a Bronco fan could say their team is better than ours? You got me there. Fire AP. Fire AP. Bro, I know. Sauceman Q. Damn. With your Mexican OG fucking picture and your crunks. Is that a picture of you or is that Mexican OG, bro? I'm just saying. I know. The coaches in the AFC West are Harbaugh, Andy Reid, who's going to retire if they win the Super Bowl this year, and Jim Harbaugh and Antonio Pierce. I know. We need a coach. But I think Antonio Pierce, maybe with the right pieces, can lead these guys to battle. I don't know if we can win, but man, right now it's not looking good. It's not looking good. All I can say is for AP's sake is that we have to beat the Broncos, we have to beat the Chiefs, and we have to somehow beat the Chargers, or we're going 0-6 in the division. And if that's not grounds for being fired, I don't know what is, because we've got rid of coaches on this team for fucking way less, bro. Way less. You can't go 0-6 in a division and keep your job. You can't. There's no way. There's just no way. There's no way. Oh, that's why the Raiders need to get Belichick and a QB this offseason. But, bro, a quarterback's not going to – look at how bad our defense is. We're giving up fucking more points than anybody in passing, rushing yards. We can't stop. I mean, we've been better at the run. We're holding teams to under 100 yards lately, but now they're just passing over the middle. We run this stupid fucking 4-2-5 defense that is guys, 20 yards deep, and they do this. They're running our offense against us. If anybody has noticed, if you watch film, these fucking offenses are pretty much the same offense we run. So they're running the same shit our defense sees over and over and over again. They're running pretty much the same concept and the same schemes, and they're beating us with it constantly. It's fucking crazy. No, Denver going to the playoffs this year and beating the Steelers and Russell Wilson in the first round. That I would like to see. But didn't they just lose to the Steelers? I know it wasn't Russell Wilson, but didn't they lose to the Steelers and Justin Fields? I'm just saying. If y'all make the playoffs, look, shout out and mad props to Sean Payton for taking Bo Nix, right? Shout out. but they got a long way to go. But the way it's looking right now, there could be 3 teams from the AFC West in the playoffs this year, and the Raiders aren't going to be one of them. That's just horrible, man. That's just horrible. All right, so Mr. Sauceman Q, who do you think the Raiders need to bring in from an outside perspective? Let's hear your opinion. Do you think AP's the guy, or do you think they need to go get a head coach? And if so, who? I don't know. Something inside me says bring AP back for that final year and see what he can do with the rookie, because I just don't see it being any different. No Nicks. That's a good name for him. No Nicks is the best quarterback in the draft. I don't know, bro. I think JJ McCarthy would be up there with him right now. He does have 4 more touchdowns than Jaden Daniels, which I thought, you know, everybody's saying Jaden Daniels for rookie of the year. But right now, if you look at the numbers, bro, Bo Nix has to be up there in that race for rookie of the year. I don't care what anybody says. Like, with the touchdowns you have, with the running yards he has, with his passing percentage, I mean, the kid looks fucking good. I mean, he's not a kid. He's a grown man. He's, what, 27 years old as a rookie? The oldest rookie in the NFL. He's up there with Dylan Lobby. But, yeah, Bo Nix looks good, bro. He's getting, he's making these receivers look way better than Russell Wilson did. And Russell Wilson had a pretty solid year with y'all. So, y'all got to steal. It's gonna be a rough sailing for the Raiders, bro. We don't have a coach to compete with these 3 coaches. We don't have a quarterback to compete with any of the 3 quarterbacks in this league, in this division. We don't have a running back that can compete with any of y'all running backs. The only thing we got is a tight end. Man, it's gonna be rough. I gotta fix whatever this problem is with this damn light or camera. Fuck. All right, man. It's been an hour and 20 minutes. I just wanted to come on here, say what's up. The Raiders need to fire AOC Draft Sanders to hire Mike Vrabel. So you think Vrabel will turn this team around? I mean, look, I said last night, if anybody coaches this team other than Antonio Pierce, it's going to be Mike Vrabel. Just because him and Tom Brady's relationship, it's way better than him and Belichick's relationship. I don't think Gruden and Tom Brady would get along. I just don't see that scenario working at all. And, Vrabel's that dude that's probably like I said yesterday, he's he needs Tom Brady to help him get a job back in the NFL. And I think that's the only way that he gets maybe back in the NFL. But I don't know. With all the coaches being fired this year, I'm not huge on Sanders. Like, our problem right now is the offensive line, and we have no weapons for our quarterback to throw the ball to, and we have no running game. You cannot bring in Shedeur Sanders with no running game, no receivers, and just Brock Bowers with a shit offensive line in the NFL. He takes too much sacks in college. He holds the ball way too long. He doesn't have a very, very strong arm, and his accuracy, is not the greatest with the deep ball, and that's fucking the same. We got Gardner Minshew. It's the same thing. I'm just saying. It's the same thing, bro. It's the same thing. It's held to the on AP. We need a new head coach. Josh McDaniels was fired for 23 games, and he was like 9-14. AP at 26 game at the end of the season would be 7-19. AP needs to go. Yeah, but see, the difference between Josh McDaniels and Antonio Pierce is Josh McDaniels lost the locker room. Antonio Pierce hasn't lost the locker room yet. These guys are still playing. They're still fighting every single play, whether they can tackle or not tackle, which we all know they can't tackle. Most of the team is just bad at tackling. But they're still in every game. They're still battling. They're still giving it their all. Antonio Pierce says it's still, the same old locker room. Well, I mean, yeah, there's no discipline in the locker room, and it's chaos in there. The guys do whatever the fuck they want. So, of course, the locker room is going to be the same. But you'd think it would be, a little less of a party, happy atmospheres, seeing that we're 2-8. But obviously, nobody cares about that. So, with all that being said, man, Josh McDaniels lost respect of the players. He didn't know how to talk to the players. He didn't know how to get the players to play for him. AP does. So, there's a big difference. Now, does AP have, the knowledge and the experience? No. But his game management is getting better. It's not getting worse, in my opinion. Now, personnel, on the field, that's something that they're going to have to work on a lot. A lot, a lot. Like a lot, a lot, a lot. Damn. Did I miss a bunch of these? Oh, all right. Belichick is the number one as experienced head coach and would be good for Dylan Gabriel or Jackson Dart as QB. Look, I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to be the guy just because he's 6 foot tall and so we're having that problem with Gardner Minshew. We have to constantly be in the gun or, roll them out to get guys open. You know, I think those smaller guys are going to be hard. Not everybody, is going to be a Tyler Murray, but he could be that guy in the NFL. I don't know. And I know Tom Telesco likes those Oregon guys, so if you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. I know. And the funny thing is people were saying if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have nothing at the beginning of the season. But obviously, we didn't have 2 quarterbacks. We had a quarterback and a backup who they thought was a starter. The Broncos are literally playing Moneyball right now. They have 0 stats on the squad. What? Oh, they have 0 starts on the squad, but decent receiver. Sutton, a good rookie. Quarterback is balling. It is all about coaching. It is. 100%. It comes down to coaching. But I thought Antonio Pierce was this great motivator that, got the best out of his guys. Is it the staff around him? Because we have 3 head coaches on this staff. 3 ex-head coaches or 3 guys on the staff with head coaching experience or ex-head coaching experience. So he should have the guys around him. I don't know how this team digressed so bad. I just can't fathom it unless AP is really that bad of a coach. But as you can tell from, Amari Gaynor, who has shown in the preseason, he's shown on special teams, he's shown when the little bit of time that he's out there that he deserves to get playtime. Doesn't get playtime. Dylan Labe, 1 play, 1 fumble. So, yes, Antonio Pierce has made some horrible decisions as a coach, but everybody needs time to grow. The run defense is the worst under AP. Josh McDaniels, the offense is the worst under AP. The whole team has regressed under AP. Need to stop making excuses for AP. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying all teams, Not all teams. Yes, they have regressed. Yes, they're falling apart. On the other hand, I mean, come on, we're firing coaches. We have no quarterback. We have no running game. And I don't care if you're Mike Vrabel, Belichick, or John fucking Madden. If you don't have a quarterback and a running game and you have a revolving door for offensive line, you're not going to be any good. No matter how great of a coach you are, it's not going to happen. So you got to give the dude that. Like, he's been through a lot of shit, and being inexperienced and going through all the fucking injuries that AP has went through has to give him some kind of slack. And the fact that, like I said before, that our owner, Mark Davis, is already paying 3 coaches that aren't coaching on this squad. You can't just keep firing guys. You can't just keep doing it. Like, you got to at least let him play out his contract. If it doesn't work, his contract's over. We don't look bad. He didn't make it, right? But if you keep firing guys in a 24 games or 17 games, nobody's going to want to come coach here. Not Belichick, not Vrabel, not anybody. Nobody's going to fucking want to come here, especially an up-and-coming guy like Ben Johnson or Bobby Slowick or any of these fucking up-and-coming guys are not going to want to come take a chance for an organization that they know they have to win right off the bat or they're going to be down the road. Like, it's we can't keep doing that shit. So, let the man finish out his contract, and if he starts winning games, he starts winning games and we're good, right? But if he doesn't, then we move on. And we blame it all on Antonio Pierce. We drafted the wrong rookie quarterback. If he seems to be a flop, you could point all the fingers at AP and move on. But if he starts winning games and, starts to look like the team is competing, you don't even have to win. Just, you can't get beat by 30 fucking points a game. You have to make it look competitive. And right now, yes, he has digressed. Everything is worse. I get it, 100%. But he also has a lot of injuries and a shit quarterback. They made the wrong decision at quarterback. And that was the biggest fuck up out of this year. Was the quarterback. You went with Gardner Minshew when Aiden O'Connell had fucking chemistry with Jacoby Myers, had chemistry with Devontae Adams, had chemistry with Michael Mayer. He had chemistry with the whole entire fucking receiving core except for Brock Bowers. He had chemistry with the running backs, most of the offensive line. And they broke that up to bring in Gardner Minshew, who destroyed this fucking team with turnovers. You can't blame that on Antonio Pierce. You can't. Like, I mean, whether you like him or don't like him, you can't say you got to fire the dude because we're getting our asses beat and we're 2-8. It's not all his fault. It's not. He's an inexperienced head coach that's doing the best he can with a makeshift offensive line with no number one receiver. Devontae made him look bad, and the whole entire organization look bad by wanting out and not wanting to be here, and made himself look bad by not wanting to be here. So, look, at this point, there's so many other teams that are going to need head coaches. It's going to be a head coaching carousel, and none of the good coaches are going to want to come here. It's kind of why we have AP. Now, everybody could say it's because the fans rah and said, blah, blah, blah. Max Crosby said he was going to leave if, AP wasn't hired. But the fact of the matter is, nobody called to try to interview for the job. Nobody came in, was like knocking on the door saying, hey, let me get this Las Vegas Raiders job. There wasn't very many people. We interviewed 2 people and then said AP has a job. There wasn't many candidates, and there's not going to be any candidates if we keep firing people like we just did Josh McDaniels, like we had to do John Gruden, like we did Del Rio. I mean, fuck. The list goes on and on, bro. We have to, at some point in an organization, have some stability and take L's to rebuild this team to move forward. Like, it's not always going to be shit, right? Now, if you give a man 3 years and you're still digressing and you give him all the weapons that he needs to succeed around him, then yeah, fucking open the door, give him a boot, kick that bitch out the airplane with no parachute. But at this point, like, we have to see if some if it's the coaching, if it's the ownership, if it's stability, if the organization is just cursed or what the hell it is. Like, we have to see. And you can't see by just letting guys go because shit ain't working out. Oh my God. The run defense, I got that. Gabriel is at 3,066 yards, 73% completion, 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, passing, 54 yards rushing for 150 yards and 6 touchdowns. Is that for his career or for a season? Because, there was also a guy in fucking Stetson Bennett that won, 3 national championships and is not playing in the NFL that had numbers just like that, but he's also 5'10", So, I mean, those numbers are all great, but do they translate to NFL wins? I mean, we don't know. He could be a Tyler Murray. Like I said, I'm not disagreeing with you. I respect all your opinion. I'm not arguing. I'm just trying to give you mine and say that those numbers are great, but if that's for your career, bro, like that's not that good. That's got to be this year. 22 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. It's got to be this year. Belichick had Mac Jones and went 10-7 to the playoffs. Year in coaching, dude. Mac Jones is not a real bad quarterback. The dude just that team fell apart around him. Now, yes, he got a shot in Jacksonville, but come on, like that's not the greatest team either. That team's struggling like hell. But dude, Mac Jones is a decent quarterback, and yes, they made it to the playoffs, but he still also had a defense then. He also had, a running game, and once all that shit left, the whole team fell apart. I mean, come on, dude, you brought in, who the fuck did he bring in? I can't think of his name right now, but dude, what they went, 4 different quarterbacks couldn't win. Tom Brady was that team, bro. Go look at Belichick's record before Tom Brady. Pull that up. Pull that stat up for me. Show that. Throw that in here. Belichick's coaching career record before Tom Brady. We can't hold on to coaches that aren't performing in its 26 games. AP intern games count. I know we can't hold on to coaches that are not performing, but a year and a half is not enough to evaluate a fucking coach who has never had experience. Now, we knew the man didn't have experience when we hired him. Everybody on the staff that was in that room that decided to go with Antonio Pierce knew the consequences. We knew it wasn't going to be playoffs in the first year. We knew it wasn't going to be playoffs in the second year. Fucking himself said, I don't plan on this team competing for the playoffs this year. I plan on this team getting better slowly and down the line competing for the playoffs and a championship for years and years and years to come down the road. So that's his goal. And, if he got Mark Davis to buy into that shit, then fine, so be it. If he can bring that. But he's already said what his goal is. And it's not to come in and win this year. He knew, Tom Telesco knew, all the writers, all the sports guys knew. Fucking some people had us winning 4 games. Raiders fan had their Raider glasses on and was blinded by the fact that this team wasn't very good, and Garner just made it horribly worse. Jacoby is a good receiver, has 0 drops all season. Yeah, he's a damn good receiver, but he doesn't get open enough for a number one. When the guys put their number one receiver on him, And we'll find out this Sunday against Sertan, because Sertan will be on him a lot. It's hard for him to get open. Like, he doesn't have great speed. He has decent route running. But if you can put the ball where he can catch it, he's not going to drop it, bro. It's just the fact of him getting open, with these fast, young, quick receivers. We need Ray Love. What's good? We need somebody to stretch the field. And we can't do that with a quarterback that can't throw the ball down the field. That's our problem. Let's go. For his career, 17,991 yards, 65 completions, 147 touchdowns, 52 interceptions, 400 rushing. I mean, dude, that's not bad numbers, but like I said, there's been a lot of quarterbacks like Bennett in Georgia who played with Brock Bowers, who has national championships. I don't know how many Gabriel has. He might have one this year. But other than that, I don't think he has any. So, the size is a big thing, bro. I know he's 6 foot. Stetson Bennett was, 5'10", 5'11", whatever they said he was. They say he's 6 foot. And there's been a lot of quarterbacks, 6 foot. But nowadays, I think his speed will help him. The fact that he can roll out and move around, I think will help him in the NFL. But we have to see. It's hard to say with guys like that. But like I said, we know Tom Telesco likes those Oregon guys, those Oregon players. We gave up on Josh McDaniels in less games. AP hasn't lived up to the hype at the end. Sorry, in my opinion. I know. We gave up on Josh McDaniels. But like I said, Josh McDaniels lost the locker room. He didn't know how to talk to people. Like, even the coaches were pissed off and pointing fingers at him. That's not the case right now with Antonio Pierce, as far as we know. As far as I know. I want the Raiders to go to the Super Bowl every year. Ray Love, stop dreaming, bro. Razzle Dazzle Watermelon OG. Damn, G. Pass that shit. Puff, puff, pass, my guy. The Lakers game just cut off on me, damn it. But yeah, that's where I'm at on Antonio Pierce. I think, he says a lot of shit. He says a lot of shit, in his press conferences, and he's backed a lot of it, and then he hasn't backed a lot of it. But when he talks, he sounds like he knows what he wants to accomplish and what we need to do to get better. And if that's the case and he can bring that, then that's fine. I say give the man time. Now, with Josh McDaniels, it was different. Like, he was supposed to be an experienced, high-paid coach, offensive guru that called his own plays. There was a difference. This man was calling plays. Antonio Pierce was just brought in to be a rah-rah guy, to be a leader of men, to get guys to want to go to fucking battle and go to war and be able to perform when they go to war. Like, that's Josh McDaniels' job, was to turn the franchise around, to draft guys. Like, that's AP's doesn't have all that responsibility on his shoulders. He don't have to call plays. He just got to get people ready, people to fucking believe in what they're trying to accomplish and not make mistakes and be disciplined, right?
A lack of
Damn, did the Lakers lose? I missed it. Fuck. If we're going to say about getting coaches and giving them time to be experienced, coach like Belichick or a younger guy like Bobby Slowick, who has proven he can develop quarterbacks and play and And stud, not AP. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Are you going to get Bobby Slowick to come here? How much money are you going to have to offer that dude? Are you going to offer him a 4 or 5 year contract, not knowing what he can do as a head coach? Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's crazy talk. Like, we don't know what Bobby Slowick, we don't know what a Ben Johnson, we don't know what these guys can do as head coaches, as, you know, with everything on their shoulders, having to get guys to play, having to bring in a coaching staff, having to draft players, having to know what players they need to fit their system. Like, these are young offensive coordinators that are probably not going to come to a franchise like us that has Tom Brady calling most of the shots, and everybody knows that. Not a guy who brings zero to the table as OC, as head coach. AP ain't it. I mean, we're gonna have to see, bro. I'm not disagreeing with you. Like I said, I respect your opinion 100%. I believe the AP is gonna be here next year unless, something crazy happens. But I think with all the shit that went on this year, with the firing of Tom Telesco, I think the fact of how good Jaden Daniels right now, these fucking headphones are killing me. I think the fact that, how good Jaden Daniels looks right now in Washington, and the fact that Cliff Kingsbury was Antonio Pierce's number one guy, and it was AP's number one choice, is giving Mark Davis a second thought, right? Because a lot of people said, it was the whole contract thing, 3 years, 2 years. A lot of people said it was the quarterback, who he got to draft, who he didn't get to draft. We don't know, right? We're never going to know until it comes out one day and they talk about it and he says why he doesn't go to the Raiders, which one day probably eventually it'll come out. But I think that fact that the Washington Commanders have turned it around. They were one of the worst teams in the league. They get Cliff Kingsbury and the quarterback and the OC that Antonio Pierce wanted and Tom Telesco wanted, I guess. And those guys go somewhere else and they're shining. So that just proves that AP has a vision for this team. He knows where the direction he wants this team to go. He knows the guys that he needs to get this team to go in the direction he wants it to go. And I think the fact that, we didn't get a quarterback and Kingsbury moved on and went to Washington, and the way their offensive looks is, making Mark Davis say, hey, damn, maybe AP is smarter than I thought, and maybe he does know more about football than I gave him credit for, and maybe I should have hired Queensberry, and maybe we should have moved up in the draft and went and got Jaden Daniels no matter what it took. Could we have done that? Probably not, but, it's got to make Antonio Pierce, it's got to make Mark Davis and fucking Tom Brady, for that matter. Look, Tom Brady has already said, we all know that, AP was not the first choice for head coach. Tom Brady was in his ear saying that's not the guy. You need to interview other guys. And he decided to go with Antonio Pierce. So, a lot of rumors are that AP was not the first choice for Tom Brady. So maybe Tom Brady sees the fact that, hey, he wanted Cliff Kingsbury, he wanted this guy, and those guys are shining somewhere else. So if we get him the offensive coordinator he wants and the quarterback he wants, maybe he can turn his team around and improve it. But right now, with the defense playing the way it is, and with Patrick Graham, bro, you can't blame this shit on Antonio Pierce. If this defense was a top 5 defense, we'd still be we would have won a lot more games than we lost. That's just facts. We were in a lot of these games, and the defense just got fucking dog walked over and over and over again. That's on Patrick Graham, bro. That's not Antonio Pierce. That's not Antonio Pierce at all. The fact that the offensive line sucked, the fact that it was moving parts, a revolving door, is not on Antonio Pierce. Josh McDaniels didn't have any of those problems, bro. Any of those problems. Did not have any of the injuries. Like, he had problems with the defense, not being able to, keep the lead in the fourth quarter, which was Patrick Graham's fault, right? Patrick Graham got Josh McDaniels fired, and now he's got everybody wanting Antonio Pierce fired. But nobody is pointing the fingers at Patrick Graham. We have the worst fucking defense in the NFL, bro. I think if Belichick took over the defense, they would definitely. I'm not disagreeing with you at all, at all. I'm just worried about who he would bring in as offensive coordinator and the guys around him. And here's another thing. All right, here's another thing. Now, I don't know if you've seen the interview, but there was an interview with oh fuck, I forgot the fuck I was gonna say. Who the hell? The damn receiver for the fucking Patriots. It's all in all the podcasts and shit right now. They were asking Edelman. They were asking Edelman if he would come back and coach if Belichick got a coaching job. If he would coach with Belichick, he said, "Hell no, hell no." They were like, "What?" He's like, "First off, I remember, after games or after practices, going and showering, doing my workouts, doing my tub things, doing all the shit, going home at like 8 o'clock at night, leaving the facility, and the coaches are in the parking lot, saying hi to their kids and getting dinner from their wives, kissing their kids goodbye because they had to go back in and watch film for another 2-3 hours. And the coaches and assistant coaches work like 16, 18 hours a day under Belichick. So, yeah, he's going to turn it around. But this team was crying about Dick Daniels, who came in and did the same thing, right? Wasn't Dick Daniels under Belichick? Doesn't he have the same mindset? Doesn't he have the same coaching strategies? That is where he learned to coach. So he has the same fucking shit as Belichick. And if these guys didn't gel with Dick Daniels, what makes you think these guys are gonna gel with Belichick? Like, I just don't see it. I think the age gap is too much of a difference. I think the way he goes about discipline his players, like, it's not. You can't go from AP to Belichick. They were already whining about the practices being too long when Dick Daniels was there. This team was crying about everything because Dick Daniels ran that ship like a prison. And they were crying about that shit. He learned that shit from Belichick. Belichick's going to come in and do the same thing, and you're going to have all these players fucking whining and crying. Same the Patriots did. The only reason they didn't do that is shit because they had Tom Brady in there. Just my opinion. That's AP's fault. We could have moved up and got Bo Nix, who was picked one before us. That's not AP's fault. That's Tom Telesco. Tom Telesco controls that shit. Tom Telesco, I mean, I'm sure if AP said, hey, go up and get Bo Nix, we could have. But would you rather have Bo Nix or would you rather have Brock Bowers? Because I'm telling you right now, I like Bo Nix. I think the kid's got a huge, huge upside to be a great star in this league. But Brock Bowers is something special that comes around once every 30 fucking years in this league. And Bo Nix ain't that special. So I'm good with the Brock Bowers. Like, we can get a quarterback this year. We can get one next year. Jackson Dart reminds me a lot of a Bo Nix, just a little bit more mobile, a little bit more squeakier, got a little bit more wiggle to him. Got the same, doesn't have near as many snaps in college football, which is a downside. But he reminds me of that type of player. But yeah, I think I'm good with Brock Bowers. I mean, we could have moved up one spot, but then we wouldn't have had Brock. So no, I'm glad the way the draft went. I think if we would have moved up, we probably wouldn't have had JPJ. We probably wouldn't have had Brock. Like, come on, if we would have moved up to get any of those quarterbacks, this draft could have flopped around, and we could have missed out on a bunch of studs that are going to be on this team for a long, long time to come. Because JPJ, Jack, DJ Glaze, fucking the way Decamary Richardson's playing, Labe, Eichenberg. I mean, come on. These guys are going to be around, bro. They're going to be on this team for a while, and they're going to be making waves, I think. Like I said, there's always next year. There's always next year. Defense is AP side of the ball because the defensive-minded coach can't say it's not on Pierce head coach. Responsibility for all elements of the team, in particular one side of the ball, in that case is defense. I mean, I agree with that. I agree. He is responsible for offense and defense, and if shit's not going the way he wants it to go, he's got to be the man to change it. Now, he made those moves on offense. He fired the guys that he thought was the problem, but he hasn't done it on defense. And I'm sure on defense, he's cutting slack to Patrick Graham because, bro, we're missing half the defense. I mean, 3 starters out for the season. Now we got no Jack Jones. Now we got no Jacorian Bennett. I mean, no Nate Hobbs. Damn. The Broncos game's going to be rough, bro. It's going to be rough. Damn. And look at our team now. AP zero discipline. This buddy shit don't work. Players are going to whine. They can go, right? You're earning millions if you're not. What? Oh. If you're not playing well, you don't do overtime to get shit right. I mean, I agree. If you're making millions of dollars and, bro, if you don't want to fucking put in the work to get better, a coach's job is to evaluate and to make teams better. And if a coach comes in like Dick Daniels did and seen, this team was really, really, really bad, that's why their practices were so long. Like, he knew the only chance he had to get this team, to where it needed to be was to put in fucking, 2-a-days all off season. And teams didn't like that. The players didn't like that shit. But if you're that bad and that undisciplined, sometimes that's what it takes. Brock Bowers. Also, Belichick was successful over 20 years with that formula. I could care less what Element says, and it shows why coaches turn teams into players. I know, but are you going to pull up his coaching record before they got Tom Brady? Because I can't find it. I don't have my damn phone on me, or I just asked Siri. Look, I agree Belichick is a damn good coach. I'm not denying that. But what I am denying is the fact that he wants to be around Tom Brady or coach with Tom Brady fucking giving him orders, bro. That's never going to happen. And he's not coming to a franchise like this that has so many struggles when there's a lot of coaches getting fired, like the Jets. I mean, the Giants, you have the Jets job that's open. You have Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers in New York. Who's not going to want that job? Who's not going to want that job? You have Jacksonville, who has a quarterback, who has a running back, who just needs a solid defensive end and a couple pieces on defense. Maybe switch around the offensive line. But I think, the coach has lost the team in Jacksonville. It's obvious. They have a decent team, and they were projected to, win their division and make a run for the playoffs this year, and they're totally trash. So if Belichick's going to go coach anywhere, he's going to go take a job like Chicago. He's going to go take a job like Jacksonville. Fuck even the Giants. They got Malik Neighbors over there. They got good young corners. They got solid defense. There's a lot of key pieces in New York too. Daniel Jones, maybe he just needs to change the scenery. Maybe he needs a different coach, but I think there's a lot of jobs Belichick's going to take before he takes the Raiders job. Now, if they offered him some crazy amount of money, yes. And if it happens, bro, I'll be the first one to say LVR. My guy, Ozzy, you were right 100%. But I just personally don't see Belichick being a Raider. Now, general manager wise, I could see him doing something stupid like that and being like, you be the GM, we'll bring Vrabel in to be the head coach, and we'll just make it a Patriot party. I mean, I could totally see him doing something like that just because it's the Raiders and that's how we roll. What else we got? Injuries, also partly AP. I know, I said that in my lives, and it's 1,100 snaps in the offseason. And the no discipline, Butler was showing off, breaking welcome. I know, I know. The defense, the discipline, the locker room shit, the smoking cigars, the whole fucking, I bitched about it. You know what's funny? And I'm not saying anybody in the NFL or the Raiders organization watch my lives, but if you do, hire me. I'm just saying. But I find it hilarious that I was the only commentator, and I watch a lot of commentators bitching about the fact that the Raiders, every time they made a play, they were celebrating with their little patty cake fucking high five bullshit. And I was bitching about, how much time it takes to learn those celebrations. And then all of a sudden, like the next week, those celebrations, there hasn't been a celebration since. I found that very, very curious that I mentioned some shit and then all of a sudden they stopped doing it. I was like, damn, maybe I should mention some more shit like how to run the ball. I'm saying. All right, what else we got? I gotta get the 2 hours. How did I end up with 2 hours again? Fuck, you guys talk too much. Belichick has success on the Giants Super Bowl team in 1986 as defensive coordinator, and he also won games with guys like Matt Castle and Jimmy Garoppolo and the Patriots. I mean, yeah, those guys came in as backups, and Matt Castle wasn't a bad quarterback. Like, he even did good when he left the Patriots. They just failed to build a team around him, and that's what happens with the NFL. Teams just fail. They get good parts, and they fail to build the pieces around them, and they try to shoot for the moon and bring in other quarterbacks or other guys to fill needs when they have guys right in front of them. And yes, he did do a decent job with Jimmy Garoppolo, but I mean, I think Garoppolo played in 2 games the whole time he was a Patriot, so he didn't win games with Garoppolo. And Matt Castle, he did win games with when Brady tore his knee and went down. But that was a solid ass team that year. Like that, come on. That team was built for winning. And it's kind of like I thought the Raiders was going to be this year, built for winning, where it didn't matter who the quarterback was as long as they can find the open man and not turn the ball over. Obviously, we didn't have a quarterback that could do either. And also, Mac Jones, who ain't done shit since who ain't done shit since Bill left the Patriots. I mean, didn't Mac Jones leave before Bill did? I don't know. Or after? I mean, it is what it is. Belichick is a good coach. I'm not denying it. I agree with you 110,000 million trillion %. And I told you, hit me up on IG, bro, so we can set up a date so I can pull you up. pull your channel up, shout you out, all that good shit. Point is, Bill is a great head coach, and he develops players. Knows defense, also knows scouting, X's and O's. I mean, I'm not really big on his scouting, on his drafts. I mean, come on, bro. He pulled Brady out of the 7th round. Now you could say that's all Belichick, or you could say it was 1,000% luck. Like, I've never been sold on any of his drafting. Now, free agency, yes, they do bring in good free agency. You know, he's good at bringing in veteran players and getting the best out of them. But, bro, when it comes to drafting and shit, I don't know. And he's a damn good defensive coordinator, like 100%, bro. If you could bring in Belichick as a defensive coordinator and Vrabel as the head coach, shit, I'm down with that. 110%. 110%. Because if Belichick could focus all of his time on the defense, bro, this shit would be wild. Like, with the fucking players we have and the rookies we have on this team, it would be absolutely insane for Belichick to be the defensive coordinator. I would 100% be with that. But the man wants to coach again, and there's too many coaching jobs out there that he's going to take before he comes here. Now, again, if he does come here, I'm not going to hate on it. Again, I don't want Gruden here, but if Gruden comes back, I'm a fucking Raider fan, dude. I'm gonna have to root for anybody. I rooted for Dick Daniels for a whole entire season and 3 games into the next season. And after those 3 games, it was enough for me to say I'm done. Now, Antonio Pierce, I was almost at that point. And I'm still kind of there. I just don't know. I don't know. I want to see what he can do with the quarterback. And if he fails, man, he fails and we move on. But this team is not going to be good just right off the bat. It's not going to be a quick turnaround, in my opinion, with the way the defense is playing, with the way the defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham, is coaching. We haven't been able to stop the run in 3 years. Patrick Graham's defense has never been able to stop the run, whether he was in the Giants, whether he was at Miami, no matter where he was, the defense never was really good at stopping the run. So it's not personnel. It's not a personnel thing. And until we can fix all the fucking parts that are missing, like a defense right now, I mean, I don't know how you go from 23rd in the NFL to 10th in the NFL in one season and then go back to 25th or 26th or 28th in the NFL, 30th. I don't understand that. You can't blame that on Antonio Pierce, bro. You just can't. You can't blame that shit on Antonio Pierce at all. That won't happen with Bill as head coach. They only need an OC. That is it. I think they need more pieces than that right now. Nice win by the Browns. Dude, it was a huge win by the Browns. Slid us right up in there where we need to be, right? Positive necessary. Raider Ryan, did you leave and come back? Did you go watch somebody else's live? No, I'm just kidding. I'm beyond the point with AP. I'm at the infinity and beyond. Buzz Lightyear voice. That's funny shit. I'm saying that's funny shit. No excuses for defense, but 8 injured starters. And that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, now that there's 11 people, I'm going to bring it up again. What do y'all think about this Madden curse? Now, we know that every player that's been on this damn Madden cover has been hurt and out for the season or most of the season. But the Raiders were on the cover behind Christian McCaffrey this year, and there was 1, 2, 3 defensive players on the cover, and we have 1, 2, 3 defensive players out for the season. I think that's absolutely nuts, bro. Like, I just can't wrap my mind around how this Madden fucking curse keeps working. Because we weren't even on the cover. We were just on the picture in the background. And that shit is for real, dude. It's not a joke. Like, what do y'all think? Who won? I ain't played spades in a long ass time. I ain't been to jail in a long ass time though either. I believe it was lack of preparation and conditioning. I mean, yeah, that's. I don't know about the conditioning thing. I know we might be over conditioned with all the reps we got in the off season, right? We were getting. I mean, somebody just put in the chat. We talked about it on this channel before. Antonio Pierce kept bragging, over 1,100 snaps. That's equivalent to like 3/4 or 7/8 of a season or some shit. So these guys are tired and worn out. I think the bye, hopefully, is really going to help this team. It showed last week. Hopefully it shows this week. We can continue. I mean, we got to do something, right? Most of the guys are hurt, so it's a lot of backups that should be plenty healthy. There should be no excuses about these guys aren't in shape or they're not prepared. We're at week 11. Sauce Man's still back. What's good? What's good? Reps. Definitely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got overworked in the offseason. Raiders are cursed. They will always Raider. They suck balls. Appreciate your thoughts, bro. Appreciate your thoughts. But we haven't always sucked balls. I believe we have more Hall of Famers, more players in the Hall of Fame than any team in the NFL. And we still have like 20 guys waiting to get in the Hall of Fame. So come on, man. We just have bad luck. They're cursed like me. 8 offensive line in one game, rolling their ankles, feeling flat-footed. I mean, yeah, that's. I just don't even know how that's possible, bro. How do you get your whole entire offensive line group injured in 1 week? Like, I don't know, but I think that was the James Gregg, blocking schemes, and the Luke Getsy blocking scheme that had these guys, constantly running into each other, kind of like our receivers were a bunch of times in the year. But maybe they need to get John Gruden's son the hell out of the shit. Maybe all them weights have gone to his head. Bro, I'm telling you, it's got to be a curse. And I talked about it earlier. I don't know if anybody was in here, but did y'all see they took us off the cover of Madden? There was 3 players on the cover behind Christian McCaffrey, and I was looking at it today because I was going to go buy it, or I was looking at the special edition or whatever the hell. And it was just a blank cover of Christian McCaffrey, no Raiders on it. They're like, the Raiders suck so bad, we got to take them off the cover of Madden after 3 players got hurt. It's fucking wild. But, man, it's been 2 hours, 14 minutes. I appreciate everybody. Like, subscribe. Please hit the like button, dude. I'm having like 50 people show up in these lives, and I'm getting like 3 or 4, 5, 6 likes. So please help me out. We're on the road to 1,000. We are almost there. We are less than 50 away. And this shit's going to get a lot more fun and a lot more exciting once we get monetized and we can do crazy shit. So show love, like, support. Much love, as always. Raiders. We out. Any questions? Anybody got anything to say before I get off here? It's been a lack of discipline, what players are doing on the field. Dude, the whole season has been a lack of everything, bro. A lack of everything. We lack everything. And the whole lack of weak preparation players, Max brought it up in the team meetings. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. I will be back on. I'm trying to start a new streak, see how many days I can come on, talk about Raider football for 2 hours straight without running out of shit to talk about. So I appreciate every one of y'all for showing support, for always pulling up, listen to me babble and talk shit. And we will be on tomorrow. I don't know when. Just make sure you hit the notifications, like, subscribe, follow. We out. Peace. Much love.